Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking a look at a piece of modern tech that honestly feels completely indistinguishable from a magic trick, the Apple AirTag. Think about it. You drop this tiny little metal coin into your backpack, your luggage, or, snap it onto your dog's collar, and somehow, when they inevitably disappear, you can just pull up a map and track them from halfway across the globe. It's an absolutely stunning feat of engineering, and today, we're going to unpack exactly how it works. But right off the bat, we've got to address a massive misconception. How does a tracker with literally no GPS and no internet connection actually know where it is? A lot of people just assume these little discs are basically miniature cell phones, right? Like they're packed with tiny SIM cards and satellite modems beaming signals to space. But they aren't. In fact, they are entirely passive devices. So how are we solving this mystery? Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our blueprint for today. 1. The zero power secret. 2. The billion node network. 3. The lockbox in the lake. And finally, 4. Finding the final centimeter. All right, kicking things off with section 1, the zero power secret, battery life magic. There is just a stark contrast between traditional tracking systems and Apple's approach here. See, active GPS trackers require continuous satellite links and these really high-powered cellular modems to transmit their coordinates. And because of that, they're inherently bulky, they run hot, and their batteries usually die in just a few days. But the AirTag? It's a passive Bluetooth Low Energy, or BLE, tracker. It has no GPS, it has no SIM card. It is tiny, stays completely cool, and elegantly runs for well over 12 months on a single standard coin cell battery. So how is that immense power saving actually possible? Well, it comes down to this absolutely mind-blowing number, 99.98%. The AirTag is actually completely asleep for 99.98% of its entire life. It draws just zero point 0.3 microamps during deep sleep. It literally only wakes up for a tiny fraction of a millisecond, roughly every half second to 2 seconds. And when it does wake up, it doesn't search for a satellite. It just whispers a tiny Bluetooth signal into the void and then instantly goes back to sleep. But if it's just whispering into the void, who on earth is listening? That brings us to section 2, the billion-node silent network, a planetary mesh. The answer to who is listening is right here, 1 billion. Because an AirTag's Bluetooth signal is incredibly weak, we're talking it can only travel about 30 meters, it relies entirely on Apple's Find My network. This is a massive, global, crowdsourced mesh network made up of over 1 billion active Apple devices, like iPhones, iPads, and Macs. These everyday devices are basically acting as silent, anonymous sighting nodes for your tracker. So let's see how this actually plays out in the real world. Your offline AirTag broadcasts its tiny Bluetooth signal. Let's say a total stranger walking their dog happens to stroll past it. Well, their Apple device detects that signal. Now here is where the magic happens. That stranger's device records its own current GPS coordinates, silently encrypts that location data, and transmits a sighting report straight to Apple's iCloud servers. That stranger's phone unknowingly did all the heavy lifting to connect your offline AirTag to the internet. And the best part? Everyone remains completely anonymous. But wait a minute. Having a billion devices secretly tracking items around the globe sounds like a massive privacy nightmare, doesn't it? Let's get into section 3, the lockbox in the lake, cryptography and privacy. To prevent bad actors or even just retail stores tracking your movement across a mall, the AirTag does not broadcast a static identifier. Instead, every 15 minutes, it uses its internal clock and a cryptographic counter to generate a brand new rotating public key. This rotating key is the only ID it broadcasts. Because this ID changes continuously, observers just cannot link different Bluetooth broadcasts to the same physical device over time. It effectively makes stalking the signal impossible. I like to think of this complex cryptography like a physical lockbox. Step 1. Your AirTag creates a random, open, public lockbox. Step 2. A passing stranger's phone catches this box, places its own GPS location inside, and snaps the lock shut. Step 3. The stranger's phone throws that locked box into the massive lake of Apple's iCloud server. Step 4. Because the box is locked, the stranger can't open it, Apple can't open it. Only your specific iPhone holds the corresponding private key required to actually unlock that specific box and see the map coordinates inside. And this brilliantly illustrates what end-to-end encryption really means. Even Apple does not hold your private key and literally cannot read the location data. This is an entirely zero-knowledge architecture. When the stranger's phone throws that lockbox into Apple's warehouse, Apple is simply holding the box blindly. They cannot decrypt the location report. This incredible cryptography keeps your location data exclusively in your hands. So, the global network of strangers has successfully brought you to the right parking lot or living room. But what happens when you finally get within 10 meters of your lost keys and they're hidden under a massive pile of laundry? Section 4, Finding the Final Centimeter, Precision Finding. Now, you might be wondering why standard Bluetooth just totally fails when you are up close. It's because standard Bluetooth can only estimate distance based on signal strength. If the signal is weak, your phone assumes the tag is far away. But physical barriers, like dense couch cushions or a wall, distort and weaken that signal, causing completely false distance estimates. That limitation necessitates a totally different radio technology, ultra-wideband, which measures absolute physical distance using light propagation. So instead of guessing distance based on a weak or strong signal, ultra-wideband, or UWB, uses high-frequency radio pulses. The custom chips in your iPhone transmit these pulses to the AirTag and measure the exact time it takes for them to bounce back. Because the chip knows the exact speed of light, it calculates that time of flight to reveal absolute physical distance down to the millimeter. It's pretty wild. But it's not just the UWB calculating exact distance. Your iPhone is simultaneously utilizing its internal accelerometer and gyroscope to track the exact orientation of your hand as you sweep it across the room. It synthesizes all this data instantly to overlay a real-time vector arrow right there on your screen. And as you follow the arrow, these really subtle haptic vibrations physically tap your hand, guiding you flawlessly down to the exact centimeter where your keys are hiding. Which leaves us with a truly fascinating question. Think about it. If a zero-power coin can securely map the physical world using a billion silent anonymous nodes, what other physical objects will this global network absorb next? When you realize the awe-inspiring hardware, the cryptography, and the mesh networking required to make this seemingly simple magic trick actually work, it completely changes how you look at the digital and physical worlds colliding. Thanks so much for watching this explainer, and I really hope this deep dive sparked your curiosity to keep exploring the incredible technology all around us.